All right, sprint 6 and the final sprint for this class. I did I guess I'll start this off by giving a overview of how everything went since the previous sprint, and what I was supposed to accomplish. In the last sprint, I really couldn't. I didn't have the encryption and decryption model working, and I was supposed to fix that. I knew that the code worked. It just the integration of the encryption and decryption application um, needed to be fixed. Um, and there are a couple of other things as well, such as displaying the password in as a password text field instead of regular text, and putting asterisks or dots being popped up when the password is being inputted. But yeah, that still hasn't been fixed. However, everything else works now. The encryption decryption module works. There are a couple of nuances which I'll explain as we go further, but the encryption works. Um, just so the application runs. There are a couple of errors that do pop up. Um, there are database errors, but they actually are not um, correct. So while the errors pop up, the application is still working and the data is being stored in the database. So yeah, there are a couple of bugs, I guess, but in its entirety, in its core essence, the application works now. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick run through of the working application. So I already have my username, password. Um, I can log in now. All right, so let's show everything from the beginning. So we're gonna go upload. We're gonna upload and file path. Let's go to downloads. I've created a test file for this purpose itself called testing.txt. Let's open that up and submit it. Before we go ahead, I'm just gonna show you the text file. It says, "Hi, I'm Manu, that's my name," and we're just gonna test it out with this. So I'm gonna commit this to my database, and we're gonna go back, library, and so this is the current one that I uploaded. I am gonna encrypt this, and it pops up over here. So as you can see now, if I open this up, it's all gibberish. So now if I want to decrypt this, I'm going to have to upload this file now. So I'm going to go back up, upload. Let's go to upload, select. And that's the file. Okay, so I'm going to submit this, commit this to the library. And you can see now it's over here. So I'm going to click decrypt, and it's going to pop up. For some reason, I don't know why, it reads it as an Adobe Acrobat document, but the user will have to remember that this was actually a text file that they encrypted. So I'm going to open this with Notepad. I believe, and there we go. That is your decrypted data. I believe that when I was testing a PDF file, it just automatically set to open dot encrypted files with dot decrypted files with Adobe Acrobat. So I don't really know how to fix that. Like I said, there are a couple of bugs. So we're gonna test this out with with a PDF as well, so that I can show you multiple documents can be encrypted. So just gonna go ahead and delete this. I'm gonna upload. Select. So we're gonna take a look at let's see this activity6.pdf. It's some file. I'm just gonna open this up, commit this as well. If we go back into library, now you can see this here. Let's encrypt that. And again, it pops up here. It's gonna show you random characters, and there you can see that it's been encrypted. Um, let's go upload this file again. Select. submit, and let's commit this to the database, and let's decrypt this. So now, as you can see, there we go. The PDF file is now decrypted. So yeah, the application works. There are a couple of bugs, and I'm gonna talk about that. I'm gonna talk about that through my code as well. I can also remove. I believe this functionality was not present previously, but now I can remove and make this clear. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. So that was a basic run through. As you can see, the encryption module works. You can now encrypt data files locally, and that was the point of my application. So that's it for the UI run through. So let's go and take a look at some of the code that I worked for in this. So this is the library controller. It's where the main application runs and where you encrypt, decrypt your application. So as you can see, all the methods are here. The remove button was added. This is what happens when the decryption button is pressed and when the encryption button is pressed. So as you can see, I initially wanted to create a random string of data which can be used as a key. However, I realized that when you're trying to encrypt, if you have to decrypt the same file, you need the same key. So if I were to create a random key in here, I would have to pass it in decryption button. But I tried that, and there were a lot of errors that popped up. Whereas the encryption worked, but the cryptography class threw a lot of exceptions. Therefore, I just kept it simple, and I kept the key as a random 16-bit string, and that's what it's supposed to be. So these both are identical, and therefore therefore you can encrypt the same file and um, decrypt the same file. I also do not like the fact that I have to go into the application itself, and that's where the encrypted file is created. I tried again creating a new file in on my desktop, and then posting the decrypted file as well in the desktop. However, again, it started yelling at me, and there were a lot of errors there as well. These were the two main things that I worked on. I thought about creating another method that would just generate a key, and then each encryption and decryption button would access that key. However, every time you would access that method, it would be creating a new key. I tried to create a loop counter itself, a while loop counter that if once the application was called, then the key value should remain final. However, again, there were like a lot of errors with cryptography, and I believe it's because I'm also using the JavaX crypto class, which is a built-in cryptography tool. Um, and I believe that creating a random string every single time is because of the limitations of the cryptography tool within Java itself. Some of the other things that I worked on, I initially wanted was gonna pass my encryption module within my file table itself, but I realized that that was gonna be um, just a big mess. This is basically the module that would create the random string. I was gonna implement that, but again, it was just a big mess. Some of the other things that I worked on in this uh, during the sprint was on my database. Uh, so actually, this did not pop up. Here we go. The database was a bit messed up. I was getting a lot of database errors. I can show you what happens. It usually starts yelling at me um, if there is some file upload happening. So if I upload a file, it'll if I commit this, You see, it says query does not return any result. And these were some of the tests that I created in my project itself. So basically, if I'm trying to encrypt this, as you can see, it says SQL error or missing database near. I broke my head over this kind of error in my last sprint, but I realized that this is not. It doesn't even matter if I have this error or not because my application still works. As you can see, um, all of these files get committed to my Krypton program. So as you can see, all of this gets committed um, to this application that I have. However, the decrypted file only pops up in the application itself. So that's something I couldn't. I was also running out of time, so I couldn't work on. But yeah, that's my sprint. I think everything works now. There's just a couple of bugs as I mentioned. Um, yeah, I'll be adding some comments to my application before I submit, and making it clear how the data flow happens and everything. So thanks for watching. This was a great class, and I learned a lot. Thanks.